still make Nokia 3315s?
No, they brought it back.
They brought it back.
As a classic.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to The Joust. My name is Nagy. I'm here as always with my trusty stalwart of NBN News, Liam McNeil. Liam, now, something happened on Saturday.
Something terrible, Nagy. Something happened on Saturday.
We thought, the boys were at the top of the table. They were full of bluster, full of confidence. They took the 226 to Williamstown and they looked fine. We saw them off there on the tarmac.
That's all right. We waved them off and they looked great. They looked excited. They looked exuberant. And, I don't know what happened between then and when we jumped in the car. We had Mark Tukey in the back, obviously Knight's
conversion coach.
Kicking coach, absolutely. We had him in the back of the, the Joust Datsun Bluebird, of course, brought to you by your good friends over at Windale Quality Automobiles.
Yeah.
And, we took the Bluebird up and great run. Really good run.
You would have never seen it before. We did not hit it on orange, let alone a red.
We got every green between here and Townsville. And, we made it just in time for kickoff. We were shaving it thin. Yeah. Obviously, Tukes in the back was dragging down the rear axle load a bit.
A little bit.
It took us a bit longer than we planned, but we were there.
We got there.
What
happened on that flight, Liam?
Oh, God only knows what happened on that flight. I imagine it was only half as fun as what we had with Tukes on the way up. Absolute legend of the game. Yeah. Every McDonald's we stopped at was brilliant. But between then and when we got there, Nagy, what happened?
I don't know, Liam. I don't know. But, were you surprised at the result, Liam? I was a little bit surprised. But at the same time, you can only stay up for so long before you crash back down to earth.
Like a blimp.
Like a blimp, but not filled with helium or hydrogen, but more so with
Team spirit.
With just air.
Air. Hot air.
And it was hot.
And pollution.
It was. Because we weren't the team that we saw last week against the Broncos. We were half the side. And half that game, we showed that we weren't that side.
So we were half the side for half the game.
Yes.
So essentially we were 1/4.
Yes.
Of the side if you factor in the side in the game.
Over the full 80.
So over the full 80, 1/4 of something.
That's it. That's all we had.
No, that's it.
I'm a glass half full guy. But when you get down to the quarters, that thing's near empty.
That's when you fill your glass. That's when you fill your glass.
Top it up.
Head to the bar. Time for another schooner. You can finish the little bit in the way over to the bar.
Yeah.
But that's time. Once you hit a quarter, that's time.
That's it. Now, Liam, there's the Cowboys side that we met. Was not the Cowboys side that we've seen.
No.
That was something else. They were full of youth and exuberance. Possibly the youngest spine that we've seen. I hadn't heard of anyone that was in that side.
Oh, they're just boys. They've just come out of school. We've got our own share of little boys playing in our team. But it seemed that the Cowboys had more than us, perhaps. Maybe they've got a bigger school catchment or something up there. I don't know. They've got more school kids coming into the team.
Is it the heat up there that breeds them tougher? It's the resilience, obviously.
That's a good point, Nagy.
The humidity.
And the resilience and the heat.
They sweat out the impurities.
All the impurities.
And they're left with pure gold.
So they go out for a night on the Terps on Friday night.
Yes.
Before 3 a.m.'s rolled around, they've already sweated it all out because it's 40 degrees up there constantly.
all the time.
All the time.
Now, Liam, we were surprised. We were surprised what we saw in that first 40
Ambushed.
minutes. We were ambushed.
Ambushed.
We didn't have a chance. It was guerrilla warfare out there. They didn't tell us they were going to play so bloody well.
And they should have, There should have been an official memorandum sent to the club that, we've really got to play well this week or, we're not going to win. I don't think the boys got that memorandum.
Not at all.
We sent it. I've checked my emails. It's in the sent folder. But they didn't get it.
They weren't ready.
Who's in charge of handing out memo? Oh, it was Karen.
Karen's there on the fax machine.
She's faxed it again.
It takes a while for the fax to be up there. They should have given it us for the drive.
Mm-hmm. And then we could have assessed it and recovered it on the drive and, worked on the tactics.
Had a look at the Bluebird.
But we left nothing.
Yeah.
We were left with nothing.
Nothing. And it is exactly what we scored in the first half. 26 points to 0.
0. Now, 0... Isn't that number telling?
It's
0.
It's not a strong number. Not a strong number when the highest number wins the game. 26, on the other hand, much stronger number of the two.
Drastic improvement over 0. Absolutely. Huge improvement over 0.
Chalk and cheese. Chalk and anything, really.
I never understood that. Who's putting chalk and cheese in the same place?
Yeah, I know.
That it became an apt comparison.
People maybe writing on chalkboards with cheese?
But that wouldn't work.
People dusting...
It is just smudged cheese everywhere.
People dusting chalk all over their salad? I don't know.
I just remember how they used to get the clappers?
The clappers.
And you bang them together. Imagine that with 2 pieces of cheese, 2 blocks of cheese, just clapping them together to get all the chalk out. It'd be a nightmare.
When I went to school, They didn't. They had chalkboards up until I think when I was 11, and then they all went to the whiteboards.
Right.
Doesn't make any sound.
No.
You don't know when they're writing on it.
No.
You get to have your head down in the book, and then before you know it, there's a full board full of information. That
And
you
you've
need
missed
to take
it
in.
all.
You missed, but there's an assortment of colours which I liked.
That's good.
You
That's
get that.
good.
You can get that with chalk, but it doesn't have the same sort of feel because it's
But
sort of
then-
like it's. You have like a pink chalk thing.
Then there's always one joker in every classroom who puts a permanent marker there.
Oh yes.
For a foolish teacher to use.
Yeah, they didn't
it ruins the game plan.
Yeah.
Sorry, class plan.
Yes. Yeah. And then, you know when they rub it off, you can still see it.
You still see it.
You can still see exactly.
It is a
what
bit
they
of
wrote.
vinegar. Spray some vinegar on there.
Vinegar. I tell you what, they could have used a bit of vinegar in defence. More vigour. More.
Vim and vigor and vinegar.
There was a couple of tries scored against us very early on, and they just seemed to show a lack of everything, like an urgency. Those effort areas were replaced with more relaxed areas in defence, and you have to give it to these boys from up north. With their coach, 1 foot out the door.
These men who ride cows.
They ride everything up there. You know, there's and they don't have the luxury of having Windale luxury automobiles. Giving them cars up there. They
Absolutely not. And again, thank you to Windale Quality Automotive.
George, I think it was George.
Yeah, Uncle George over there. He'll get you sorted out with the finest 1990 Ford Telsters that the world has to offer.
They don't have the luxury up there, Liam, but this particular effort, I think, from number 7 for the Cowboys is that Drinkwater?
No, that's Jacob Clifford.
Jacob Clifford. I had not heard of the man before today, but gee, he put himself up there with some of the best.
Some of the greats, absolutely. Some of those great Queensland players that we all know and hate.
Yeah.
And he's one of them now, I suppose. He's one of them. He's young. He's learning his craft. He's on his way to becoming a good footy player. But boy, did we make him look like a good footy player.
He looked like the best.
He looked like the best, and we did not.
Now, in that first half where things really fell away and we had no control, they really controlled the game with what they, as much as our very own Mitchell Pearce has done to other sides, game managed us out, I believe.
Now, game management's a funny one, Nag. It seems to me that when people talk about game management, all they mean is kicking a grubber out.
Yes.
That's it.
That's
Apparently,
all.
if you were to ask the average rugby league fan, commentator, player, Mr. V'landys himself, you ask him what game management
Slippery
is.
Piece.
Just kick it over the sideline.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your whole game.
Not on the full.
Managed. Not on the full.
Not on the full. That would be the opposite of game management.
That would be the opposite. That would be game mismanagement.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously you've got game management, and from what we've learnt from our years
That's all you
watching
do.
rugby league, we were involved obviously in some of the processes in putting rugby league terms together.
Absolutely.
But we were not consulted on game management.
No. But that's what
You know what we would have said? We would have said, just call it a kick into touch.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Look, it's a simple game. I'm a simple man. Let's just call it as we see it.
Keep it simple.
There was a lot that happened in the first half. All of it went against the Knights. The Cowboys played, arguably a perfect half of football. Everything stuck. They seem to have that spray that they spray on their hands. The spray, I don't know what it is. Usually when spraying on something else, you're trying to lubricate it. But they seem to spray it and it sticks.
It's like reverse WD-40.
Yes. WD-30 possibly. And then what they've managed to do there is they played some really solid football. They kept it up our end and we kept making those bloody mistakes.
The errors, they cruelled us.
They put the ball on the ground often, not in the play of the ball, but more in the effort of passing, or it just nothing seemed to be working.
Times when the ball shouldn't hit the ground, it did.
It hit the ground.
And times when it should hit the ground, it didn't.
No,
Because it should be hitting the ground over the try line to score a try, but it didn't happen.
We didn't even see their try. We didn't know what it smelt like.
No.
All the tries were just down the one end because we had to swap at half time. But when we did swap at half time,
Oh, what a swab it was.
now
I think, and that got me thinking, is that field regulation angle, or is there some sort of downhill thing going on? Because it seemed to be the case that both teams running right to left on your screen there, as you can see Tex Hoy racing away for a try there.
Obviously,
that
right.
seemed to be the way that all the play went. So I want to do, Nagy, is go to Bankwest Country Bank Stadium,
With a
whatever
level?
it's called, with a level.
Yeah.
Get my spirit level out.
Yeah.
And just smack it down. It's good. We've got more to talk about in terms of playing surfaces.
Oh, yes.
But this is what I really want to address. Get the spirit level, lay it down on the grass, get down, have a look, make sure that bubble's in the middle.
Where's the bubble? That's all I'm asking. Have we seen the bubble?
I haven't seen the bubble.
Now, Townsville Mayor up there. Now, I'll let you know also, Townsville, the name Townsville. Town means town, and Ville means town. Townstown.
Townstown.
That's obviously something that they've looked over when naming it, but it sounds well. So all we want to do is see the bubble. Show us the bubble, and we will stop criticising, saying that there was an unfair advantage to the home side. But look,
I haven't seen the bubble.
I haven't seen the bubble. I've not been in the same room as the bubble, so But what we managed to do coming out in the second half, the second half, we thought, then this is our opportunity. This is our opportunity to stop making those errors and show them what we can score points too. And we did score a few.
We scored a couple, 20 unanswered, I believe it was.
Now, I'll tell you who wasn't happy. Mark Tukey, who up in with the car. He was not happy with the performance of the kicking from Kalen Ponga.
He was furious, Mark. I can't express it. The trip home,
Yeah.
my God, he was furious. And we got every red light.
Yeah, all the
So
way
he
back.
was furious already.
Yeah.
And by the time we were getting home, it was 3 a.m. Not all Macca's up there at 24 hours a day. Mark was getting hungry.
Yes.
So, Tukes, he was very, very disappointed.
Yeah.
Especially with the kicking performance, because
That's what he
his
does.
area of expertise.
Yeah.
It's it's what he does, and I think he's been a bit disappointed. So don't be surprised if you see the kicking boot taken off Kalen, taken off Tex,
Take it off Mark.
taken off Mark,
Yeah.
but given by Mark to
Yeah.
someone more his ilk, perhaps. A Safidi brother or a Clemmer. Someone with big feet, big heavy feet.
Herman, maybe.
Herman, perhaps, just want a big heavy foot so he can swing it like a club.
It's all simple. Sort of, is it geometry? Would you say, Liam? It's simple.
I would say yes.
It's weight into that with balance. Physics is
if
a
you
better
will.
one.
Yes, weight into balance, into swinging power. I believe it's
motion.
centripetal motion.
Centripetal.
And if he puts on another 5 kilos on his feet,
Yeah.
Kalen Ponga, then he can keep the kicking tee. But until then, we need a big man,
Yeah.
taught by Mark, and probably coming to the game in the back of the Datsun.
Have we looked at the Cowboys kicker? Who was the Cowboys kicker, gents?
Jake Clifford.
Possibly a weighted boot.
Could have been a weighted boot.
I'm just saying.
can't rule it out.
Did anyone check the boots?
I didn't
Nuts
check the
and bolts?
boots. I did the old stud check, where you just make sure no one's got the sharp metal studs. I did that one, but didn't weigh the boot, so I couldn't confirm nor could I deny it.
That he had a weighted boot on.
Yep, can't confirm or deny. So I'll leave that up to you, Joustis, to make your own conclusions there.
Where do we go from here, Liam?
Where do we go from here? Obviously to the next game.
Yes.
But do we want to jump into the news first, Nate? A couple
I
of
think
big
it's
items.
I think it's time for the news.
Time for the news.
That was a bit of a stop start. Yeah, it's time for the news. Liam, there's a lot happening in the news.
A lot happening in the news, and we'll come back to our hats off after the news section. I think we
we'll
need
mix
a
it
bit
up.
of a break from talking that game. It's wearing my shoulders down. It's
feel
rubbing me to the bone.
feel the weight of
let's go on the news, and then we'll come back to our hats offs after that. Now, first issue on the news: the Bankwest Stadium. Now, Bankwest Stadium has hosted a number of games in this NRL season thus far. I believe it hosted 5.
Many.
Over the weekend. It was a lot. Look, it was a lot. Now, the turf, it's going to be ripped up after some serious concerns after 5 players suffered serious injuries this weekend on the Bankwest surface.
Now, Liam, you did, of course, 3 years of an apprenticeship in sports playing surfaces.
I did. Sawtell Sports Surfaces Limited.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, we did 3 years of my apprenticeship there. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you would not see me trotting out the kind of rubbish that is surfacing Bankwest at the moment.
No.
I would have. They seem to have gone for a couch / blue mix, but I would have gone straight for buffalo turf.
Buffalo.
You got to go for the buffalo turf.
Sir Walter, maybe.
Yep, Sir Walter buffalo. It gives you a bit more length
Itch.
with a bit more itch, but it gives you more length without suffering from thickness.
Yes.
So it's a very thin grass that grows long. So it's not good for a very fast game,
No.
but it looks beautiful.
Slow it down.
Slow it down.
Maybe give it a bit of an angle.
Give
it
it
an
an
unfair
angle.
advantage.
There we go. Get out the spirit level. Get the bubble.
Now, the reason for the criticism for that, for that particular surface, was of course because the players were being, the sniper was out.
Left, right, and goddamn centre. Let's see who we've got. We've got Victor the Inflictor, Sam Verrills in the very same game on the very same team, both suffering season-ending ACL injuries. Will Hopewadi suffered a syndesmosis injury, which is a shame because he was about the Bulldogs' only good player so far this season. Corey Horsburgh did the Liz Franks. Remember we were talking to Daniel Safidi about 2 years ago. He had a Liz Franks issue as well, which apparently I've learned what it is. It's not named after anyone. It's just the name of the bone in your foot that you break.
Elizabeth Franks.
I've been searching far and wide for this woman, Liz Franks, who's apparently stepping on everyone's feet.
Yeah. Wonderful dancer.
Oh, she's a beautiful dancer, but just steps on feet. My God. So, I obviously... Bankwest did call me to consult, and I said, look, you got to tear it up.
Yeah. Start again.
Start afresh. And I believe they are returfing it next week, but they are doing a drop-in. It's ready to play on, essentially. They drop the turf in, and it's ready to
I
go.
got a question for you guys.
Yes.
I know you've stressed before that you're not doctors. Is that right?
Not at all. No,
So neither of you are doctors.
Not licensed.
Not licensed,
Not licensed medical professionals.
Right, but you've worked in the medical
Oh, we
arena.
worked in health
Around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, with an ACL, 'cause I don't know anything about it, but ACL injuries, if your ACL is going to go, is it going to go regardless?
That's a great question.
If you've got, if there's a fault in your knee, is that just going to happen at some point regardless? Like, or is it like you've got a perfect knee and then some bad grass fucks it up?
I'm going to go with yes.
I'm going to say firm yes. If it's going to go, it's going to go.
It's going to go.
Yeah. It's just like, it's like if you just keep pulling back that slingshot, eventually you got to let it go.
You're going to let it go. And the worst thing's going to happen, you let go of the slingshot, but you let go of the wrong hand.
Yeah.
And it comes back and hits you. That's your ACL tearing.
It's like if you're going to flick, a hair tie and they've got that metal bit and you think that's a perfect thing for me to hold. I'll just dangle that over my thumb as I extend it back and then you let it go and then it hits your thumbnail.
We had a mate in high school, Jake Learmouth, good friend of the show, dear listener, former South Newcastle junior, actually played together with Jacob once or twice, and he was the kind of bloke, he made slingshots in school, and he sold them, and they were fantastic. We used to go out in the bush, and my God, you wouldn't see where the stones would end up. It was that good of a slingshot. Strong.
Yeah.
He'd make them obviously from the branch. Going in the V.
Oh.
And he made a pretty penny off of them as well. He made a very pretty penny.
He sold them.
I sold them at school. He made $1 million.
He was a distributor.
He was a distributor.
Remember the paper
entrepreneur.
Wasps? Remember the paper? What you'd fold it and then you'd fold it around the band. You couldn't do that these days. No, OH&S in schools.
No.
Back
We've
in
all
our
lost
day
our eyes.
with the blackboards, you could. Not now with the whiteboards.
Not the fancy one. They've got smart boards now. There you go. As we can see just on here, we've got some fantastic homemade slingshots.
Yeah.
And just the kind that we had fun with as kids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm missing various body parts due to misuse of slingshots.
You still got that pellet lodged just behind your ear.
Yep. And when it rains, it just tinkles a bit. Just tickles.
Just.
So I know all the time when it's going to rain. Now, next in the news, Benji Marshall being shopped to rival clubs for the rest of the season. What club do you think requires the services of Benji Marshall, if any, and does he still have a place in the NRL?
Our very good friend of the show, Philip Ronald Gould, came out and said, look, the perfect home for him would be, of course, the New Zealand Warriors. What a better way to finish off his side by returning to New Zealand. Of course, he fled there for the Tigers to play for the Blues. That's a New Zealand rugby union side, I should say.
And went wonderfully.
Went not as good as probably he
Sorry,
hoped.
I said one. I meant to say terribly.
Terribly is probably a better word.
I think I've misspoken.
And then he returned back, of course, to play rugby league. And look, I tell you, he's played for a lot of clubs, Benji.
The Broncos?
He played for the Broncos.
St.
George, yeah.
He'll always be a Tiger.
He'll always be a Tiger.
So it doesn't matter what club he goes to. If he goes to another club, he'll always be a Tiger.
He seems to someone that's really clinged on to first grade, like a cat onto a branch, like a tiger possibly onto a branch. Yeah. But the Tigers don't want
He'd
him.
have to be a thick branch.
There's a lot of clubs that he could go. Who's been floated? I know he's the talking about
everyone.
Everyone
in the bottom 8. Yeah. It's the classic. Oh, Parramatta.
Yeah, interesting.
Nah, don't need it. Parramatta don't need
After of course, the halfback Mitchell Moses has done a.
Parramatta does need him. Yeah. I think Moses will be out for a couple of weeks with a torn calf again from the Bankwest Stadium surface.
But what do you do after the couple of weeks? Is he back looking for another club?
Back to the retirement home.
The village bicycle of players. Everyone gets a go of Benji.
Everyone gets a go of Benji. And so they should. What a player and what a personality Benji has been over the last... How many years has he been in top grade? 15 years?
Benji sounds like a bicycle as well.
He does, doesn't he? 05, yeah. So that's 15. So, yeah.
03.
God, he's been around a long time.
Gets around, doesn't he?
But he's still got it. In bits, he's still got it.
He's got something.
He's got something to offer. And I think there's a lot of struggling clubs that really could use him. Brisbane, obviously, because they could
go back to Brizzy.
He could go back to Brizzy. They could use any single person ever.
They seem to give away a lot of players, Brisbane. Of course, Andrew McCulloch was their most recent release, but obviously Josh Maguire only a short time ago. Cody Nikorima, they said, Warriors, you take him. We don't want him. We've got someone better, but he's not here yet. It just seems that these players flooding out the door.
And it seems to be Mr. Seabold. He's come in and he seems to have cleaned the joint out a bit, much to the chagrin of Broncos legends. He's pissed all them off, and now he wants... now, apparently, Kevy's coming to assistant coach there, but we'll leave that.
Is he really?
This isn't Broncos podcast. There is also one...
Is Kevin coming back?
Well, there's been suggestions. There's been links. There's been talks. But again, it's the team coming last. They'll link him with anyone.
If you were Anthony Seabold and you heard...
God forbid.
The bloke who coaches the Queensland side, the representative side...
They've lost 2 in a row.
They have. He's coming just to help you out. I wouldn't get caught, in a room alone with him. Have you ever seen the movie Goodfellas?
I have.
Where they're going to get made man?
Yeah.
And then he gets shot. That's
exactly what it is.
That's exactly the kind
the
of
rugby league equivalent of Goodfellas.
They'll say, where is Anthony Seibold? And they say, I don't know, but does anyone have a big bag of lime and a shovel?
Hopefully not, because that would be a horrifying thing to happen. To have a first grade NRL coach murdered and buried in the ground. We do not. Again, we are not advocating for this.
Advocating for the death of
We're
Anthony
not
Seibold?
advocating for the death of a first grade coach.
No.
Yeah, just can't rule it out though.
All we got to say,
We can't tell the future. We don't know what's going to happen.
We have no idea what's going to happen.
No idea what's going to happen. We're not licensed tarot card readers. We can't stress that strongly enough.
No, not since the incident.
No.
Cessnock City Council v. the Joust. We can no longer claim to be tarot card readers.
Look, enough of Cessnock City Council v. the Joust, because we could be here for hours. Next item in the news. Nathan Cleary has been wonderful since the resumption of play.
Andrew John said he was the possibly the best performance he's seen of him playing first grade, which is interesting, that comment, because it either alludes to the fact that he has not watched a lot of him in first grade, in reserve grade, or he just hasn't seen much of him at all in his more, higher claims, like State of Origin wins and games winning finals, much rather. But gee, he had something going on with his face, Liam.
Didn't he have something going on? I believe we've got an image.
There's a medical image of a bit of close up there. It's there's something that went on. There's something that went. It was almost like it ballooned out a little bit around his eyes, and he already has such a strong chin.
Well, that's it. It was just to balance out the chin. I think it was an intentional move from Cleary, because you got to balance out the chin. Otherwise, you end up running very chin forward. He's very chin heavy. And so you've got to tie up way down the top a bit just to even it out.
He's packed full of antibiotics.
Packed full of antibiotics.
Some get a cortisone shot. He just got antibiotics straight between the eyes.
Yes. Well, Nathan, well done. And we think you're going to play Origin this year. I believe we've actually got a picture. Was this a post-game picture? I think we've got...
There's another photo of Nathan, I believe, getting around in the group chat. We'll come back to Nathan's. It's more of a medical photo.
It's a medical photo. We want to give it the gravitas it deserves. And
absolutely.
So we'll get right back to that. But in the meantime, we've got. Hang on. Sorry, we do have this image of Nathan right here.
There he is.
That was in post game, just before he hit the showers. Sorry, no, he's in his suit just after the showers, coming out in the suit, ready to jump on the bus home. Took the bandage off. And Nathan Cleary, great, love him.
Looking
ready
fantastic.
for Origin finally.
Thirsty.
After two series, he's ready for Origin.
He was thirsty for blood. He was
thirsty. Now, this is a humorous one. Now, we like a bit of humour on this show. I don't know if you jousters know that, but on occasion we like to make a bit of a giggle.
Got a good laugh,
a bit of fun.
Yes.
A good laugh. Now, Hudson Young.
Famous for the gouger.
The gouger, yes. Famous for his digital penetration, I suppose you'd say.
Of other people's faces.
Yeah. And now Mr. Hudson Young has done another incredibly smart thing.
Here we go.
And he was tested. Now, he was temperature tested for COVID prior to the Canberra game with another team.
Yes.
And he didn't pass his temperature.
Failed it.
He failed it. Now, what did Mr. Hudson Young do after that, Nagy, do you think?
If you're a bit too hot,
you got
to cool off.
You got to cool off. And where do you cool off? In the shower.
In the shower.
He just put the cold water on, and he went out and he got tested again, and wouldn't you believe it, he was below the threshold. So, well done for... It's that kind of innovation that you don't often see from rugby league players.
No, not
But
at all.
COVID's bringing out the real creative streak in rugby league players. Any way to get around these COVID restrictions.
Staying within the rules. Yeah.
By going outside the rules.
And outside of the room.
Outside of the room.
Into the shower.
And it's good to see innovation from rugby league players. You know?
Hair wash there.
And I think we had I think there was a similar situation a few weeks ago when a couple of the Sharks players tested their temperature too high.
All too hot.
They did the same. They're very same. Went into the fridge, the Powerade fridge in the cool room, in change room rather.
Yeah.
Just kind of poked the head in for 5 minutes. All the boys just walked past, gave him a slap on the rump, said, "Yep, you're right. 5 minutes is up. Get back to the temperature check."
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
Just cool off.
Cool off.
You're a bit hot under the collar and hot out of the collar as well.
So you need to be cold under the collar, and cold he was. Oh, let's go back to the game.
Yeah. Hats off.
I was going to say hats slightly askew.
Okay.
Slightly askew. Who have you got, Nagy?
No, I thought Lockie Fitz had an excellent game. I thought he did two things. We made lots of line breaks, Liam.
We did make lots of line breaks.
Line braked them 6-4, and one of those line breaks was Lockie Fitz, and what he did was not fuck it up.
Which again, that was something that Adam said in the halftime speech, which clearly he didn't say beforehand. Because it's quite clear that he didn't say to the players before the game, don't fuck up.
No,
because if he had...
He skipped that part.
He skipped that part, and he should not have.
No.
We told him, we said, mate, you got to get that in early. You've got to let them know, I don't know, 10 minutes before kickoff.
Just remind them.
Just remind them.
Say, excuse me, boys, don't fuck this up.
Yeah. I don't think it's asking too much.
They'll go, oh, of course.
Of course, yes.
Lockie Fitz had a cool head and he found Tex Hoy, and then he managed to do it again.
He did.
Not finding Tex Hoy, but finding another one with a great hit and spin offload. Was more of a netball pass as well. When
and
he
haven't
got
we
hit.
missed the Lockie Fitz hit and spin?
Yeah.
Such a good weapon in his arsenal.
Yeah,
such a good weapon in his arsenal.
It was an amazing effort. I think Lockie Fitz setting with 2 tries, really getting us back for a bit. Did it get it back in the contest? Probably not, but it took just a little bit of shame off the team.
And his stats were pretty decent: 108 run meters, 2 tackle breaks, 1 line break assist, and 1 offload.
Yes.
So he had a pretty decent return to the NRL. Now, for me, my hat's off's got to go to the man. So nice. They named him Herman.
Yes.
Herman, S-A-S-A. He only played 35 minutes, but in that 35 minutes, ran for 153 metres, 49 post-contact metres, a tackle break, and a line break assist. Good stint from Herman off the bench.
Yeah, there's talks of Herman not being re-signed.
Oh, I know. To the Titans, perhaps.
To the Titans, possibly. Now, what's your thoughts?
Where every player goes to die.
Career-wise,
of course.
Of course. If you're coaching Brisbane Broncos, Kevin Walters, stab.
Stabby dab.
But there's Herman. I'd love to keep him.
Wouldn't it be great to keep Herman?
But you got to remember Tyson Frizzell's on his way over.
That's it. And where does that leave Herman?
That's just another forward that's going to be playing over Herman. He's basically a bench prop as we got him at the moment. I know he's been playing a bit of lock and interchanging the starting role with Tim Gladsby. But
he suffered a knock to his noggin.
Yeah, he was only on for 25 minutes.
A noggin knock.
But otherwise, pretty lucky that we were up there in Townsville with the swanky, the slanty surface.
Because he got knocked out, he just kind of rolled down the hill.
Rolled down and then
then got up.
Yeah.
Straight back in the defensive line. It was brilliant.
they just had the stretcher ready and he just rolled straight
into
it. It was lucky we played out there because there was no other injuries besides the possible HIA to Tim Gladsby. But, otherwise, Tim Gladsby and Herman SCSA is changing. Who's starting this week? We don't know.
We don't know.
They ask Adam O'Brien. He says, just heads or tails. And then he
says, boys, reach in, grab a jersey, whatever you put out. That's what you get.
16, 13, who knows? But other than that, he's a bench prop, and apparently he's a bit on the pricey side. When we signed him, we were in a different sort of a state of a team. We were looking for a proper...
I would say maybe not a marquee signing.
It was
maybe a half marquee signing.
At the time, it was probably our most well paid proper. I'm going to say outside of Clemmer. Obviously, we're paying Clemmer a lot of money,
and rightly so.
He's been the pillar of that side. So where does that leave him? I just think he's probably going to cost a little bit too much to keep.
Which is a shame because we love Herman on the show.
We love him.
Love Herman on the show.
So hats are slightly askew to Herman as well as Lockie Fitz. You done all right. But Liam, there's something else in the news I think we didn't cover. There was an enormous sporting, not an achievement, but sporting goal for that came out through. Someone said it was the fast train of sporting.
The Western Sydney fast train of sporting.
Chats is it's the Kangaroos playing the All Blacks.
Now I'm glad you brought this up. This is a very interesting concept to me. The mixed game, the rugby league playing the rugby union. Now I was lucky enough many years ago to be the water boy in a Newcastle Rugby League Legends versus Newcastle Rugby Union Legends game, and I got lucky enough actually. Mr. Scott Conlon, I had his puffer in my pocket because I was the water boy.
Yeah,
Scott Conlon was the kicker, and I was like, better take his puffer.
Puffer being the asthmatic Ventolin puffer.
Absolutely, the very same. And I believe Robbie O played on the rugby league side.
Yeah.
And I believe the rugby league side won quite considerably.
Yeah,
quite considerably.
They just played all over them.
Played all over them. And there was another great example in the early 90s.
Yes.
Where you had the Bath Rugby Club. Playing against the Wigan Rugby League Club, who had, at the time, Jason Robinson, future crosscode superstar. And I believe Wigan won about 72-6. And so it doesn't bode well for the rugby union teams. They always seem to lose. Maybe they're just not as good.
This sort of co-promotion, Liam, doesn't ever work. It's only worked one time in my recent memory. And that's, of course,
was that?
That's the famous Australian shooter, turned swimmer, Garth Delancey, won the gold medal at Moscow.
Moscow Winter Olympics. Yeah.
Moscow Winter Olympics. So although he was swimming, I haven't seen it since then. That was.
Oh no, sorry. Moscow was the swimming.
He was the shooter.
I believe it was the Helsinki Winter Games where he competed in the biathlon.
Biathlon, the rowing and the chasing and the shooting.
Oh, it's the skiing and the shooting.
Yeah, and then of course he went over to the swimming.
Yes.
And
Cross-code superstar.
And then after he did some work for Penguin Mufflers.
Yes, Penguin Mufflers.
Yeah, but it was like
that's the only muffler service that Windale Quality Automobiles will use. Penguin Mufflers.
With Penguin Man being the spokesperson for.
Which Garth, well known as Penguin Man.
And one of Australia's greatest athletes.
Absolutely, one of the very best.
We have to look forwards, not backwards, Liam. Backwards, not forwards. Twirling, always twirling, Liam. We faltered at the first hurdle of the Cowboys.
But we shan't falter at the second hurdle.
Being the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles.
The much despised Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. In fact, I imagine all you Knights fans would feel the same. We don't like Manly.
It's been
we don't care for Manly. I don't want to play footy against Manly. Look at this. Why would you want to play footy against Manly when they put on a score like 30 points to 6? I don't want that. Kick him out of the comp.
Now this game is
moved him to Perth.
It was
something. I don't care.
It was going to be a Central Coast Stadium, our second home. Now they've moved it further to the northern beaches at Brookvale.
Again, terrible decision. You think Bankwest was bad after 5 games in 1 week? Imagine Brookvale after 1 game in
disgusting
6 months.
Like
it's a public park. There's just dogs parking turds all around the place. You can just walk your dog there.
It's a cricket pitch.
It's asbestos in the stands.
all over it.
Everywhere.
They got to pull it down.
That's why the grass is so green. Full of asbestos.
Start again.
Won't light on fire, though.
No, that's right.
You couldn't light it on fire if you tried. But
they called it the wonder material because it was flame retardant.
Yeah.
And insulated properties. But of course...
No downsides as far as I'm concerned.
None that I can see.
No, none that I can see. But again, not medical profession.
Not medical.
So we don't know. We don't know. But a couple of interesting things about this game. Well, not very interesting. Just kind of regular things that happen in rugby league games.
Tom
Turbo is out.
Yeah.
Dylan Walker is out. Moses Suley is out. So they're missing a couple of big hitters. Obviously, Tommy Turbo being the most big of the hitters out of that. You know,
and then Dylan Walker being the second, he's more of the hittee.
Well,
because of course the famous Curtis Scott.
Yeah. We won't go into Dylan Walker hitting because that will just go down a road we don't want to go down.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Now, who do we put in the centres? Well, because obviously Bradman Best set to return. Gemmet Shibby. Probably didn't have his best game on the weekend.
So do you keep...
do you keep Inari?
You keep Inari. I believe you keep Inari and you put... back onto...
reserve grade.
Well, there isn't a reserve grade at the moment. So but I'm sure he could run good waters.
He could run a great water.
Maybe a puffer.
Tell you what, I've seen the man cut an orange. Whew.
I tell you,
brilliant.
Straight down
Brilliant
the middle.
orange man.
When you cut an orange...
Yes.
Do you go... Obviously, quarters is too big of a quart. Like, it's too big.
It depends on the size of the orange.
That's true. But like,
I haven't eaten an orange in years.
Yeah. But I reckon a quarter...
I think I've got scurvy.
A quarter is too big, but an eighth is too small. Where do you go?
A sixth.
But you know...
It sits in nicely.
I suppose you cut it in
so
half.
do you cut it in half?
And then cut it...
Two.
Yeah.
Done.
Do you put it...
So cutting in sixths.
In sixth.
Sixths.
Do you put it on the rounded end, or do you put it flat?
Sixths.
And then cut it down? Because then you risk...
Again, I haven't eaten orange in years now.
Liam, that's your homework for the week. You need to eat an orange, mate.
Just have
it's a great experience when it goes well.
Yeah.
And you can do the...
What about a mandarin?
Well, that's a different...
It's already cut for you.
Have you ever seen someone try to peel an orange? And
it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Who wants to peel an orange?
There's a classic gag with an orange, and I think we've all done it. And that's put the into your mouth,
like it's your mouth guard.
You close your lips and then smile, and then it's purely the orange skin showing.
I believe Marlon, Mr. Brando, actually saw us doing that at what was it? I think it was a Soldiers Point Scorpions under-8s game. We were cutting the oranges and we were doing that to keep the kids entertained. And Marlon was on the side. Yeah, Mr. Brando
yes,
was on the side, and he saw
always
it.
Came to watch.
And he went straight to Mr. Coppola and said, "Hey, I've got this idea.
Yeah,
The Godfather, mate.
Couple of wedges,
boys just chucking oranges in there.
Yeah,
it looks like they got no teeth."
He says, "You can't talk." He says, "Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We'll work around." What a
There we
tremendous
go.
actor
That's a perfect photo. Marlon Brando there in The Godfather.
A young Brando.
Very young Brando. Very young Brando. So, it's a great movie, The Godfather there. We've got that still image.
That's part 4.
Part 4, yeah.
Straight to video.
The Godfathering. The re-Godfathering, rather. So they never talked about the Godson.
No, just the
There's the Godfather. Who's the Godchild?
I guess, I don't know. Well, they had the daughter. Yeah, there was the goddaughter.
Daughter, yes.
It was Sophia Coppola.
Horrible.
It was terrible film. They should have really stopped it. They should have stopped at 2, let alone go to the 4th one, and brought Marlon back.
Oh, you shouldn't have brought Marlon back. No way.
It's chaotic times.
Chaotic times.
But
you know what helps in chaotic times?
What?
The sack.
The sack.
Opening the sack. Talking about the sack. It helps take the mind off the chaotic times. Now, let's begin with the sack. First question comes from Susan
Gold
Jones.
jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?
Let's open that sack, Liam. Sorry, I wasn't sure.
First question from Susan Jones. Did we take our opposition too lightly? Did we believe a win was inevitable? Well, that worked. Bit of sarcasm there from Susan. Nicely done, Susan. There needs to be commitment from the first whistle to state the obvious. Agreed, Susan. I think we did take them a bit lightly.
Agreed, yeah.
Cowboys have been terrible.
Yeah.
And you know what? We said, oh boy, they're going to be terrible again. And they weren't.
They weren't. They did the exact opposite of being terrible. And I think we took them too lightly. We went up there and I think even at halftime, I think we can still win this. And we didn't.
We didn't.
There wasn't enough time on the clock. There wasn't enough points on the board. And there wasn't enough energy in the fellas.
And it's not our fault.
No.
We tried to text the boys on the drive up with Tukes.
We said, don't fuck it up.
They had all their phones on airplane mode.
Yeah, that's it.
Being in an airplane.
They have to.
So, we tried, Susan. Our apologies. We tried, though. Next question.
Daniel
Billy Bennett.
Oh, sorry.
Billy Bennett. If O'Brien did his halftime spray before the game,
yes,
Knights will be undefeated this year. Also, if Bess went motocross riding at the rifle range with his parents instead of visiting their house, would he have avoided a suspension?
Interesting.
Now,
interesting angle.
I don't think he would have avoided suspension. However, I don't think he would have come back to the NRL had he done that. Like we've discussed before, bushranger. Once you go up, once you go out bush, you start riding motorbikes, you start shooting guns, you get a taste for how good bushranging can be.
You're on a horse.
And then next thing you know, you're rustling cows and robbing banks. And, then you're getting hung in Melbourne jail saying... Such is life.
Such is life. Yeah. So poetic.
So I'm glad Bradman didn't go out motocross riding and gun shooting. Because
he's good boy visiting his mother.
Yes, good boy visiting his mother. No.
Out of all the scandals that an 18-year-old rugby league player that's shot to stardom can do, visiting your mum during a pandemic, sure enough, he broke the rules.
Especially when the other option's becoming a bushranger.
Yes.
So did well. First half of your question, Billy. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, how about this?
Okay.
So what about...
Okay.
We've discussed in the past Nathan Brown and his Xanax Powerades at halftime.
Yes.
But he always seemed to get the team up for the first half.
Yes.
Now, what about we bring Nathan Brown back as a consultant?
Yep.
Purely for the first half. And then AOB takes over in the second half.
And shouts at them.
Yells.
Throws water bottles. All of them. I think he just has the case of water bottles. And they have to sit there and says, don't move. And that's what they got to learn.
Actually, Jousters might not know this. Craig actually, Bellyache.
Yes.
We know him as Craig.
Yeah.
He actually gave us a call when he saw the first AOB water bottle throw.
Yeah.
And he said to us, boys, look, we've got to...
address this.
We've got to address this. I need you boys to go out, take AOB out to the Lake Macquarie Lakers baseball team, out at Bolton Point there. And
talk about the diamond.
Get him out the diamond.
Yeah.
Get him on the mound.
Yeah.
And just get, loosening up a bit.
Yes.
Shoulder. It's all shoulder when you're throwing a water bottle.
Yeah.
You can throw that out real easy. So, we took him down to Bolton Point. We got him throwing a few dingers in, and
the problem was his stance.
His stance.
It was he was doing it from more of a legs together. And I said, Adam, get them apart. That's where it comes from. Your hips. Adam.
Good solid base.
Yeah. It does.
A good solid base.
He was throwing in some pearlers by the end of it.
He was
ducking and diving.
Now we've covered this a wee bit, but I'd like to go over it more. From Josh Spiegelman, dear friend of the show, the Hebrew Hammer, the original fourth jouster. Which centre would you drop for best next week? Shibby seems to be more of a threat. Shibby, but also a liability. Tuala, just solid, not spectacular, or dump both and give Mogo crack. What has happened to Tau Mogo?
No one knows where he is. It'd be ironic if he was driving cabs. Although he has one of those protective inner city sort of capsules that you see.
Yeah.
Anti-slaps.
To prevent the COVID now as well.
Of course.
Stopping slaps and COVID.
Yeah.
So
I think that we've looked towards the youth with Shibby and Anali and Anari. I can never get that name.
You'll get it
correct.
one day, Nate. You just keep trying. You just keep trying.
I think Shibby needs to have some time sitting down, and I think we need to bring Bradman Best, the Beast,
The beast,
the
best,
Thumb.
the best beast, the
Bring him
thumb,
back in that
the
side.
man carved of granite. All right, next question. Nicholas Inzatari. Now, this is a good one.
One more time with that surname.
Inzatari. I
Inzatari.
believe I've got that right. Nicholas, feel free to correct if necessary. I think I've nailed that one, though. Now, Nicholas asks, should we retire the Miners kit? It seems to be our Madden cover curse. Now, for those listeners who don't know what that means, maybe they can call us and tell us what it means. Now, I believe it has something to do with the National Football League video game
Yes.
named after the great quarterback Madden.
Yes.
And it seems to be the case. Now, if Nicholas is right here, it seems to be that when you are put on the cover of Madden, you are terrible.
Yes. So that you have a terrible season.
Terrible season. Now,
I see.
is this the case for the mining uniform?
Well, possibly. Look, I think our away jersey is equally as a bad omen as the Miners one. So, do we also retire the away jersey? Play everything in the home jersey?
Well, who's it going to clash with? There's no clashes. No other team wears red and blue.
Not in the way that we wear it.
Not until we bring back the Adelaide Rams, which, as you know, we've been pushing for. We want rugby league to expand.
With who was the halftime entertainment of the Adelaide Rams?
Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker, yes. And they're captained by Kerrod Walters.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Look, I don't really like the Miners jersey because it just doesn't seem like a night side. It seems like we're supporting some other team. You're obviously supporting. You don't like it. Josh doesn't like it. I don't think anyone's out there buying too many mining jerseys. Maybe a good friend of the show, Matty Stork. Matty
Stork, yep.
Yeah. He buys a lot of jerseys, so they could possibly be. Look, it's part of the collection. You need to have them all if you want to have a good collection.
Now, I'd always, for me, the Miners jersey will always hold a special place in my heart because of that kick from Jim Buray.
Of course, James Bray, and also there was
To SKD, I believe it was.
Yeah, then he
to
got-
win the game against the Tigers in Tamworth.
And we did flog St George last year, also out country wearing that jersey
Mudgee.
as well. And Mudgee wearing that jersey as well. So it's not terrible. It's not terrible. We won a couple of games. Do we wear it again? Is it twice wear in the season or is it just once?
I think it's just one time. Just one time. But yeah, I could go either way with it. I don't mind it. I don't think it's terrible.
Don't love it.
I don't. It is a good one. Now, if we look at that interesting picture, second down on the left, boy, that's a who's who of Knights players there. We've got
Tao Moga.
Tao,
Josh King.
Brock Lamb.
Brock Lamb.
Real stalwarts of the club. Stalwarts of the club.
They probably where that jersey belongs. We do love Josh King though. I love Josh King.
Love Josh King.
I
Yeah,
have to see Josh King back in the side. But yeah, the other two. See you later.
Now, Daniel Turner, another good friend of the show, asks, how does
Hit the road.
just yeet it out of here?
Get rid of it.
That's what the kids are saying. You just yeet something.
Moga's going to be
means
back in
to
the
throw
side.
it out.
Moga will be back in the side this week. You watch him,
gotta
then,
be, yeah.
then he'll choke me to death.
Good question from Daniel Turner here. How does O'Brien get through to the players that the first 40 minutes isn't a warm-up?
No. Did anyone tell them that this isn't a warm-up?
Again, I think we established it was not told.
No.
So what I think you've got to do is end up playing 3 full halves of football.
Yes.
So instead of a warm-up, say, you go out a bit before the game, maybe you do 15 minutes,
Yeah.
high intensity.
Yeah.
Forget that.
With the other team?
No, just with yourself. But I think what Adam O'Brien needs to implement, there's no reserve grade,
No.
so you've got a cadre of players who aren't playing. What you do...
A cadre.
A cadre.
Of course.
Yeah, so what you do, Adam, you get your 13 players,
Yeah.
you play against your reserves,
Yeah.
and you just slug it out in a full 40-minute warm-up in complete game condition. So you'll end up playing 120 minutes of rugby league,
Yeah.
but you'll get that terrible opening 40 out of the way, and then the second half and the third half, they're fired up for. The boys are ready.
Speaking of interesting coaching strategies, Liam, the Brisbane...
I didn't think that was that interesting.
The Brisbane Broncos against the Titans used up all their interchanges, and a player there's got injured and a player's got simp, and they finished the game with 11 players, and my God, it was funny to watch.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Isn't it great? Isn't it great to see the Broncos finally fail?
Because they played badly, which they did.
They did.
They played like shit. But they also mismanaged their interchange and got a player binned. Wonderful. I hope their losing streak never ends. And they're playing the Warriors this week.
Oh, that is going to be a mediocre game. Wow. Salacious. Now, next question.
It'll be the Logies of the rugby league round. Just
Yes.
mediocrity.
Now, a little add-on there from Dan Turner as well. He can think of a stronger word than hell when we were talking about what the hell happened. We don't want to use bad words on this show, so we just thought we'd use hell. Probably could have used heck. But do you think the same day travel played a role in the result?
Well, it's happening. We've finished that now. There's no more flights. There's no more big drives. You know, we're going to be doing they'll be able to stay a night. They'll be able to rest their, sorry heads.
Yes.
And, we'll be able to also stay with them in the hotel. We wouldn't have to drive back with Tukes. God forbid that happens again.
Oh, God forbid. Like we said, most of the Maccas were closed on the way back. Not happy about that.
Not a happy man.
Not a happy man. Okay, so yes. Same day travel. I don't know. Maybe not.
It's got to be a thing of the past soon.
Next one from Adam Clements. Now, this is a real brain burner. Where in the nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty did it ever say he was an egg?
Oh, it didn't.
It didn't.
They've covered that up for children to mask the fact that the man was dead.
He was very, very, very painfully killed, falling off a wall.
Yeah, they couldn't put him back together again.
Where's the OH&S?
There's no
Is there no scaffolding around this wall? It doesn't mention that he's an egg.
Never
Not at any
mentions
point in the rhyme.
Had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not
put
put
Humpty back together.
Copyright land. We can't sing the whole song.
It was just a man that was broken.
Just a broken man.
Yeah. And
Man,
the
it was
big
Nathan
picture.
Brown with 4 rounds to go last year. He fell off the wall and broke, and all the King's men said, "Bugger off, Nathan! Get out of here!"
Well, this is a new verse. Bow, blow, blow, blow.
What's blow, blow, blow? Blow your balloon out. I've never knew about the balloon. What's this?
Can we get this up on the thing? This is
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had to go false, etc., etc. King's horse come around.
There's a whole 2 verses of blow,
All
blow,
the
blow
king's
your
horses-
balloon.
What is this balloon? Where is this balloon?
3, 2,
And now
1.
there's a race.
Go, go.
It's got a balloon and there's a race. And now 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. I don't know. Oh, Adam, you've really thrown.
This long song, I'm tired of it. Bong.
I was going to say that sounds like it was written by someone who's been on the Hong Kongs. They've hit the glass barbecue pretty hard before they wrote this well-known children's fairy tale.
Well, with that,
Adam, I'm really glad you brought that up. Actually, that's a
Thanks
very
very much,
interesting
Adam.
question.
Cheers
Yeah,
for that.
very interesting question.
On that, Liam, we better finish for the week. We're going tremendously over time. If you like us, please like us on Facebook. Please share us on Facebook as well. Give us a share.
Give us a share.
Yeah. If you're still watching this, give it a share so I know you
Yeah.
watched it to the end. But please like us on Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify. Not TikTok, though.
No.
You tried to be on TikTok this week.
Oh.
Didn't really work out. You were pissed.
Failed miserably. Very, very intoxicated. It's my sister. She's a bit of a younger person.
The youth.
Tried to make us do a TikTok and it didn't work.
What
so-
is it? Did you dance?
It's a dance.
Why is that with dancing?
I don't know.
The way they dance, Liam.
It's all the dancing.
Please join us next week after we cover the Manly game, and hopefully we can talk about a win. Thank you for joining us, Justers. We'll see you then.